Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, back with some more pre-season FPL content. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is review all of the first drafts that were submitted to me over on X, and just for the purpose of me being as honest as possible, I'm going to anonymize the actual drafts in question. So I'm not going to call out who's submitted the drafts to me. So look, without further ado, let's get straight into it and I'll review as much as possible with time permitting. And if I feel that there's good traction with this and I get more drafts on the back of this video, then I'll do another draft video. So in no particular order, I'm just going to pick the first draft and go through them one by one. I'll give a rating out of 5 for each. So draft 1, you can see got Petrovic in goal, got 4 at the back. We've got Mohamed Salah and Haaland, interestingly enough. And then a bench containing Winks and Harwood-Bellis. I had both on my bench as well. And they've got Turner. So Petrovic is unlikely to start from what early reports indicate. It might be that Sanchez is back as the number 1. Not happy with the back 4 combination there because of the way that the BPS points have been revised. And yeah, sure, Saliba, Burn, I can fully buy into them, but I kind of feel that it's really about a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 formation for me. Gordon and Isak, interesting combination. And you got Nkunku, just like me, as Palmer cover. On the whole, I feel with this, it's a reasonable enough attempt at a Mohamed Salah and Haaland draft. So again, needs more work, but I'll give you 2.5 out of 5. On to the next draft. We've got Flecken in goal with a 3-4-3 formation and a bench. Again, Sanchez is a sub-goalie there with Anderson, Winks and Harwood-Bellis. Again, with this team, we've got a stronger bench, but then of course that's possible because they don't have Mohamed Salah in their team. They've got Alexander-Arnold, who arguably is probably the cover for Mohamed Salah. So interesting. And Hudson-Odoi is someone who I did have an eye on, but I was 0.5 million short. Again, with this, got Konsa as well, with the Aston Villa's run of games prior to their Champions League commitments in September. Isak as the placeholder captain. So I feel that this team does have balance, and you've got Saka as well. But the question is Saka worth it from a points to million perspective when you've got Odegaard, who's considerably less? I feel that you definitely need an Arsenal defender here as well, but fair play for getting Palmer, Saka, Haaland, and Isak into your draft. I'm also going to give you 2.5 out of 5 for this draft. On to the next one. Another 4-4-2 formation. Got Flecken in goal. Again, Dan Burn's going to be a popular pick, again, just due to the price point that we've got for him. Another Alexander-Arnold draft. No Mohamed Salah. Odegaard covering Saka. And then a bench of Harwood-Bellis and Nkunku, interestingly, sub-2. And João Pedro as a sub-3. Wow, that is a very strong bench. I kind of feel that, is it too strong of a bench, perhaps? I've got no doubt that you probably rejig the bench order. You wouldn't have Harwood-Bellis as your sub-1 if this was a draft you'd lock in nearer to the game week 1 deadline. So with this one, I kind of feel that it is balanced, but it's almost like missing, again, no Arsenal defence at all, when Arsenal had the best defensive record in the Premier League last season. Turner as the dud sub goalkeeper, got Flecken as well. I do like the Newcastle triple up, but I just think that funds could have been spread better elsewhere on the pitch. But then I'm thinking with this draft, they're probably looking to bank free transfers. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. I just feel that the bench is a bit too strong for my liking. On to the next draft. Got a Man City defender and a Spurs defender here in a 4-3-3 formation. Again, I'm seeing 4 at the back here when the BPS, I would argue, is favouring the attackers more so. So I'm going to downmark anyone who's giving me a 4-man defence. Having said that, you've got some reasonable defensive picks there. No Liverpool cover at all with their generous run of games. Of course, the new manager comes into play, so there is an unknown quantity there as well. Kudus, interesting pick there as well. Mateta, Haaland, Isak as the front line, but Mateta, of course, has got Olympic football commitments with France, so could be an X-Mins issue for game week 1. Got the legend that is Bednarek, sub 1. Got Kluivert and Gray as well. Not fully enthused with this. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 as well. And apologies for the harsh marking there. I'm going to be as brutally honest as can be. On to the next one. Again, we've got Sanchez, who's popped up in the drafts again with the speculation that he might start. Got Shaw, Saliba and Byrne with that back line. And with Shaw getting his effectively pre-season during the Euros, hopefully he'll be a starter. Odegaard covering Saka here as well. First one we've seen with Watkins, got João Pedro and Isak, so this is a no Haaland draft. And Nkunku as sub 1, I can allow that. Moreno as sub 2 as well. I kind of feel that, like, from my side, if you're gonna have a no Haaland draft, you've got to get almost like at least double Man City. But it's not the worst draft in the world, and it's certainly got a lot of balance. For a no Haaland draft as well, again, I can't justify not having Haaland as mentioned, but I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, so highest mark so far. On to the next one. Again, 3-4-3 seems to be in vogue here, thankfully. Got Anderson, Saliba, and Dunk, Flecken in goal. Palmer, Haaland, and Gordon, and Watkins as well. That's an interesting one. But then you look at the bench, it looks a bit bare, with Semenyo as a sub 1. Again, who are the misses here? There's no Liverpool cover at all with a generous run of games. And then ultimately that has allowed you to spread funds as well. I'm going to give this, again, just for the lack of Liverpool cover, I'll give this another 2.5 out of 5. On to the next draft. Got Pickford in goal. You could say, hero in some respects for England for some of the saves that he made that got us to the final. Gvardiol, Konsa, and Van de Ven in defence. And with a 5-man midfield of Garnacho, Gordon, Palmer, and Mbeumo. And as again, not seen many with Garnacho and Haaland and Isak. But there's no Liverpool players here as well. Pedro, Anderson, and Howard Bellis. And I would say that is a just about reasonable bench. It's not super strong. And then Anderson, no doubt, will be a rotating defender. And then with João Pedro, could potentially rotate with Garnacho or Mbeumo, perhaps. Again, it's not got Liverpool cover, but I'm going to give this another 2.5 out of 5. I think 2.5 is going to be my number, actually, for a lot of these drafts. On to the next one. Got Pickford in a 3-5-2 formation. Højlund and Darwin. There's no Haaland here. But you've got Saka, Salah, and Fernandes getting cut off screen there. Eze and Mitchell. So got Palace triple up with Guehi as sub 1. You've got João Pedro there as well. I feel that, like, with this one, you just got to factor in, like, a bit more of the fact that there's no Man City cover here as well. I'm going to give this 2 out of 5. So looking at our next draft, got Flecken in goal. Petrovic, again, the hurry to get rid of Petrovic, knowing that his minutes will be limited. This is a Haaland and Salah draft, just like my first FPL draft. Gordon and Isak. No Liverpool cover, unfortunately for them. And the defence is fairly stretched. Again, well, I beg your pardon. Let's do that again. Got Flecken in goal. Got Petrovic as well, but Petrovic's minutes might be limited to some extent, as we've mentioned, with Sanchez being a potential starter for Chelsea now. Gordon and Isak. Nkunku as well. Like the João Pedro call. That's allowed you to unlock some funds. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. On to our next draft. Onana in goal. Got Gvardiol, Gusto, and Matson. Odegaard, Fernandes, Kudus, Foden, Palmer. No Liverpool cover. Watkins, Isak up top. Davis and Cody, and you got Iverson as a sub 1. Again, I don't like the fact there's no Liverpool cover here, so I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 as well. On to my next draft here. That's been submitted to me. Vicario in goal and Petrovic. Udogi, Matson, sure, I can live with that defence, not too bad. Got Foden and Haaland. There's no Liverpool cover either. And I would say that the baseline level, I get it. You can't have Mohamed Salah, fair enough, but at least consider a Trent or like some other Liverpool player at least. So that new manager has a lot to prove as well. Again, there is some reasonable balance here, but I'm going to give it another 2 out of 5. On to the next draft. Here we go. Got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mohamed Salah, Adingra and Mitoma. This is a bit of a maverick team. Havertz, Isak, Watkins. So it's a no Haaland draft. Got Rodgers because of that preseason form he's been showing as well. Got Leif Davis as sub 2. Okay, so no Haaland draft as well. Not really happy with the double Brighton midfield, and there might be some X-Mins issue there, but it remains to be seen. I'll give this a 2.5 out of 5. As we progress to the next draft, we know that 3 out of 5 is the highest one. So between now and the end of the video, if someone can get more than a score of 3, fair play to you. Here we go. Got Henderson in goal for this draft. Burn, Saliba, Gvardiol. Okay. Got Mohamed Salah, Eze, Foden. No Haaland, but you've got the double up with City. Fair enough. Isak, Havertz, and Solanke. Hudson-Odoi. Got Ait Nouri there, who's got some tricky run of games, but then it will get progressively better, I guess, after September. And you got Sells in goal as well. Again, as a no Haaland draft, it's a reasonable effort, but just concerned with West Ham's opening games as well. Going to give that a 2.5 out of 5 also. On to the next draft, Henderson in goal. Oh, you've got the 4-man defense, but one is Alexander-Arnold, so I could, live with that. Here we go. So in this instance, no Salah, but you've got Jota, got Doku and Foden. Is Doku a X-Mins problem? Who remains to be seen. And you got Palmer, Turner, Weiss, Winks, and Fraser. I wanted to give this a higher potential score. If you downsize Palmer to Nkunku, you could unlock funds and make this an even better draft. But I think this draft has significant potential as a no Mohamed Salah draft. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. Had you downsized Palmer to Nkunku, again, I'm projecting my own team on yours here, I would have given it perhaps even a 3.5, but that's 2.5 there. On to the next draft. We've got Verbruggen in goal from Brighton. 3-man defence of Saliba, Gvardiol, Konsa. But you've got Bailey and Watkins as your Aston Villa triple up. No Haaland here as well. Got Gahey and Harwood Bellis on the bench. Again, you've got no Haaland, but you've got, I'd say, reasonable Man City cover as like an alternative to him. Mohamed Salah. So at a push, yeah, considering it's a no Haaland draft, I'll give that a 3 out of 5 as well. On to the next one. Again, Flecken comes up, trumps again. Gabriel, Gvardiol, Burn. Say that's a reasonable defence there. Foden also, again, no Haaland draft, but you factored in that in this draft. Gibbs, White, Odegaard, Salah, and Gerard Bowen. Fair enough. Gakpo, is he going to be an X-Mins issue? You've got Nunez as well. You've got Pedro and Mikalenko. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. On to the next draft. Again, Flecken is proving to be a popular pick in a lot of these drafts. Got Burn, Gvardiol, Matson. Okay, I can live with that defence. and you've got no Haaland, but you've got Alvarez. His X-Min's going to be an issue there. He might even be leaving Man City, according to some reports. Eze, Watkins, and Nkunku is sub 1, fair enough. And you got that Palace defender as well. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. Let's see if anyone's going to get a 4-star or even a 5-star review. But the way that FPL have done it this season, it's really harder to get as many premiums as was the case in the 23-24 season. You could have them all last season, and this season you really can't. Konsa, Burn, Saliba, yeah, I can live from that defence. Nkunku, Eze, Gordon, Salah. Oh, I like this. Pedro, Isak, Haaland. Got Sanchez as the goalkeeper as well. I like it. Rotating goalkeepers. Rodgers, Mikalenko as well. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. So I don't know who you are, but just because of the balance and the way you've spread the funds, 4 out of 5. So well done to you. I like it. I'd say this is better than my first FPL draft, where I also had Mohamed Salah and Haaland. You've got the triple Newcastle as well. So I think you've checked a lot of the boxes here. Am I being too generous with this draft? Let me know in the comments below, but this is definitely a 4 out of 5, unless you can pick some bones with this one. Congratulations. On to the next draft, another no Haaland draft, which is proving quite popular. And according to the percentage owned metric, he's only at 30% remarkably, but I'd say auto select has a bit to play on that front as well. Again, for those that don't have Haaland, you've got to cover it. Gvardiol, Foden, Timber really in defence. Not sure about that. Got Jota. But here you've got no Haaland, no Salah as well. Not feeling this. I'm going to give this a 1.5 out of 5. I can't really justify. And Mateta, Olympic footballer as well. Yeah, let's give that 1 out of 5 actually. Not really feeling that at all. On to the next draft. Got Mikalenko, Gvardiol, and Fabian Schär. Palmer, Saka, Gordon, Foden, and Eze. Watkins and Isak. Now I do like that power 7 attack. For a no Haaland and no Mohamed Salah draft, that is quite robust. And you got Davis and Burgess as well. It's just, you need to have one of Mohamed Salah or Haaland, in my opinion. So I'll give that a 2 out of 5. On to the next one. Got Henderson in goal with Petrovic. Might want to switch Petrovic out, mate. Saliba, Gvardiol, and Burn. Foden, Nkunku, Salah, Saka. No Haaland. Watkins, Isak, Pedro. Got Konsa as a rotating sub. Balance here. Again, I'm biased because I've got Haaland in my team, but considering the way you've spent the money, I'll give that a 3.5 out of 5. So well done to you. On to the next draft. David Raya in goal. Here we go. Finally, someone who gets it, that you can save an extra £500,000 into that Arsenal defence by going David Raya, just like I did. Let's see if I can give you more marks. No Haaland, but you got Gvardiol and Foden. Got Odegaard as your cover for Saka. Got Salah, Eze, Gordon. Oh, this is ticking the boxes. Isak up top. Got Fabianski. Not sure about that. For a draft that doesn't have Haaland, a no Haaland draft, I'm going to give this I'll give it a 4 out of 5, just because as a no Haaland draft, fair play to you. I wouldn't personally opt for it as of now, but yeah, I can do it based upon the way you've spent the money there. On to the next draft. Sanchez in goal. Again, they got the memo. Turner as the sub 1. And the back line there of Gehi, Gabriel, Gvardiol. I can live with that. Midfield, Nkunku, Salah, Foden, Odegaard, Gordon, Isak, Watkins is looking good as well. Konsa, Stewart, and Harwood-Bellis. Going to be generous here as well. Again, it's a no Haaland draft, but I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 as well. You've spent the money sensibly. Fair play to you. On to the next draft. Got Sanchez in goal. Gvardiol, Konsa, and Saliba. Just looking at the defence. Anderson there. Harwood-Bellis and Winks on the bench. Turner in goal. Again, another no Haaland draft. And they got midfield of Foden, Eze, Saka, and Salah. Isak, Watkins, Pedro. You get a 4 out of 5. Again, it's a no Haaland draft. I can't be biased against it. 4 out of 5. So we've I've literally set these drafts up in a random order, but we've progressively gone from like 2 out of 5s towards the 3 out of 5s to the 4 out of 5s. Again, didn't plan it. I just randomized it, but it's just the way that the cookie has crumbled here. Got Sells in goal for this draft. Rogers, Castagna. Oh, this team seems very pro Fulham. Why on earth is Flecken on that side? That is really messing with my OCD there. I don't know what you've done, mate, but that is really driving me a bit nuts. Got triple Fulham, don't like that. Got De Bruyne as cover for Haaland. Mohamed Salah, Palmer, very heavy. Got, I think it's just got too much Fulham for my liking. I'll give that a 2.5 out of 5. On to the next draft. Got Flecken in goal. Dallo, Udogie, Konsa, Mohamed Salah, Palmer, Hudson-Odoi, Saka, Garnacho, João Pedro as well, Anderson as well. This is looking quite interesting. I'll give it as a no Haaland draft, but you've got no Man City cover. Oh no, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Good effort. On to the next one. Kepa in goal. What the? And Austin. Okay, that's a bit random. Got Trent, Gvardiol, Shaw, Rashford, Son. First one with Son, Saka. This is too random. I'll give this a 1.5 out of 5 there. Sorry. On to the next one. Verbruggen in goal. Saliba, Konsa, Burn. A midfield that's relying on Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White with those opening fixtures. Palmer, Fernandes, Gordon, Haaland. Interesting. There's no Liverpool cover. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. On to our next draft. Got a Leicester goalkeeper. Again, infamously, Leicester had a weird goalkeeping situation in that season when they're relegated, but this goalkeeper has proven to be somewhat of a rock for them, albeit that was under Maresca. Triple City. I think this is the first one I might have seen as Triple City. There's no Mohamed Salah, no Liverpool cover. Double up with Newcastle. Bench looks a bit bare. I'll give that a 2 out of 5. On to the next draft. Becker in goal. Alisson. Timber. And seeing his name once again. There's no Haaland, but you've got Mohamed Salah here, so fair play to you. Anderson and Burn rotating defense. Give that a 2 out of 5. And for this team, got Onana in goal. Again, going to downmark you for having the back four. And it's Moreno and Castagna as well. Not really fond of that. And Aguerd, fair enough. Mohamed Salah, Son, and Haaland. I'll give you a 2 out of 5 as well. On to our next draft. We've got Petrovic in goal. Again, you might want to change that, mate. Got a Crystal Palace triple up. Again, Mateta, Olympics football, might want to factor that in. But you've got Mohamed Salah and Haaland. I think this draft has some potential with some tweaks, but I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5. On to the next one. Again, no Mohamed Salah, but you've got Trent as your cover. Timber, once again. Again, I've seen him in a lot of drafts. Maybe he will start for Arsenal this season. Who knows? But I didn't really factor that in, but fair play. Eze and Mateta again. Udogie and Kunku on the bench. And you've got Munoz as well. I'll give that well, if there's no Salah or Haaland, I'm going to give you a 1.5 out of 5. On to the next draft. Got Flecken in goal. Gehi and Eze as the Palace double up. No Salah, but you've got Foden and Haaland. Got no Liverpool cover. Taylor, Muniz and Konsa on the bench. Areola as a goalkeeper as well. Give you a 2.5 out of 5. On to the next draft. Mikolenko as a starter with Saliba and Martinez. Got Mohamed Salah. Haven't got Haaland. Got Petrovic. Might want to change that. Konsa's on the bench as well. I think this could offer potential with some tweaks. I'll give you a 2 out of 5. On to the next one. Flecken in goal with Turner as a sub 1. You've got Mohamed Salah and you've got Trent. Don't have Haaland. You've got De Bruyne, João Pedro, Mateta, Isak. Again, Olympic football issue with Mateta. Might want to factor that in. I think you might probably be missing another Man City player there, perhaps without Haaland. I'll give you a 2 out of 5. On to the next one. There's certainly a lot of love for Spurs here. They double up in defence. You've got Son as well, Havertz. There's no Mohamed Salah. There's no Haaland. Not feeling this one at all. And you've got quite a heavy bench as well. I'll give you 2 out of 5. On to the next draft. Henderson in goal. Martinez, got Diaz and got Burn as well. Foden, Saka, Salah, and Kunku. Again, no Haaland. Konsa, Muniz, Bednarak. I'm going to give that a 2 out of 5 from my side as well. So there you have it. That is my review of your first FPL drafts that were shared with me. I probably could have done a few more, but time is of the essence, as they say. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Were those reviews harsh? Can you do a better draft? If so, please pop it in the comments. And ultimately, again, it's pre-season, it's early days. There might be players we've got in our drafts that don't turn out to be starters. There'll be others who get bought during this summer as a transfer window is open, and that could radically alter our drafts altogether. My personal assessment of the drafts that I've seen, that I've shared with you, is okay, fair enough. You haven't got Haaland, then at least make the money count. And you haven't got Salah, then try and get some sort of Liverpool cover. But when you've got no Mohamed Salah and you've got no Haaland, who have consistently proved that they are very key in the way they play for their teams and for all of their double-digit hauls, especially since Haaland's joined, and Mohamed Salah, it goes without saying that his pedigree is second to none, that you've got to have one of Haaland and Mohamed Salah surely. At the same time, do factor in that we've had the Euros just end, so some of these regular starters, I think you've got Saka in your teams, fair enough, but then they might have some limited mints in game week 1. It means you need to have a solid bench at least, sub 1, sub 2, to cover you for some of those players. And again, Mateta, I had him in 2 of my pre-launch drafts, but the Olympics football thing has made a problem for me, especially with the way that Palace have played, but also with Palace, you've got Elise, who's no longer there. He's gone to Bayern Munich. So that transfer will no doubt have a massive impact in terms of how they play and if they're going to carry on scoring the same amount of goals that they did in the second half of the 23-24 season. So I see the logic in having at least one Palace player perhaps, but a triple up, I can't justify it. Triple up of Liverpool, I can't justify that either, especially with the new manager. But surely you've got to have one of Trent and Mohamed Salah, one or the other. And with Haaland, I really can't look beyond him right now. I do suspect that 30% ownership will gradually creep up when the fear of missing out becomes an issue as we get closer to game week 1. So do factor that in as well, that ultimately Haaland's, I guess, his prowess remains the same, but then the points per million obviously will be an issue. And points per million is going to be a massive metric in this season, more so than ever before. Building team value will also have a massive impact, as it did in seasons gone by as well. But ultimately, it's early days. Tinker away. It's your first drafts, and I was more than happy to review them on an anonymized basis. Was I harsh on some of those reviews? I may have been. I just wanted to give you my own opinion, again, without knowing who has submitted it to me. And ultimately, that's what it is. It's just an opinion. And there we have it. As always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Look out for more preseason content from me over the weeks ahead. I've also got a dedicated preseason guide, and you just click on the URL. You can see all of my previous videos, the drafts that I've compiled, as well as some useful hints and tips for this season. And there you have it. All the best with your next draft. Keep on tinkering.